Hi all. Right, welcome back. Red Storm, Dark Blue Defection, Scenario 4, Iron Eagle. This is my part 17. So 2 or 3 days past since my last recording. But I've got a nice long weekend off now. Although this is kind of just the start of it. This is nearing the end of the Thursday night here, but I'm going to have a good bit of time Friday and Saturday to do some stuff. I don't want to just concentrate on this. I've got some idea to start up some other game. Whether I press record on that or not, I'm not sure. Like I've said recently, I've said for a while that I find that it encourages me to get in and play the game if I do press record, and I feel like I feel sort of like obligated to keep it going and that because it's on camera, rather than sometimes you set a game up and struggle to get it started and then just leave it. So, however, I'm not sure, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do either. There's a few ideas I've got, but I feel like I'm going back. Recently I spoke about being a bit of a hypocrite because I used to make some comments about people putting up videos and not having played the game and trying to play it and making a mess of it and whatever. But if you notice, every one of these parts of this video, John Brown's commented and straightened me out pretty much every time, and I hadn't played this game, so. But I think there's still something to take from if you haven't played this game by watching these videos that you would get something from. I might have spoke about this before, to be honest, but I'm trying to just get myself out of that hole that I dug for maybe blaming some other people from not knowing the game before and making a recording of the game. But you can see that some people want to learn the game that way, and I maybe understand that now, that it is quite a good way to learn it, and it keeps me. I think if I hadn't recorded this, for instance, I don't think I would still be sitting here at this stage in the game. I think certainly if it didn't happen beforehand, I think I would have, been, when I got frustrated about all this whole working at the SAM things. And bear in mind, if I hadn't been recording this, I would have been asking questions on BGG constantly. And okay, John Brown probably would have answered the questions for me, and whether that would have kept me going or not. Anyway, I just feel that it is a better way of keeping your game going, and I've really enjoyed it. So, I suppose what I'm saying is that if I do set something else up, it might be in the same position that I started this. Probably not going to have played the game. I've got quite a few things in mind. I'll maybe get around to that when I've got a bit more time. And show you maybe some of the ideas of what games I might want to play. I've got quite a few in mind. Like I say, but that's not what we're here for, Grant. Okay. So there's a couple of comments on not enough of what to talk about. Well, first off, John Brown. We had talked about this whole long range and the SAM attacking from long range, and the fact that he had house ruled, the fact that, let's just, I know this wasn't the one that we were looking at, but it's got a range, its long range there is 10, 9 and 8, and the first time I played this, I checked to see if they would fire at range 10, and then I checked to see if they'd fire at range 9 as I was moving, and checked to see if they'd fire at range 8, and he said he would only do that once in the movement phase, and it kind of made some sense what he was saying, because the negatives they get for that long range isn't very good. And plus the fact, one of the more important parts John was calling this out for is, although we're not tracking ammo in Dark Blue Defection, in the full solo game, and this is what he had played, you've got a certain amount of ammo, so if they keep firing at long range and unlikely to do anything with that, you can see that their ammo's going to run out. So when I was doing this again, he commented that, yeah, he wouldn't do this check, he would only do it once per turn. It seemed a wee bit less, but John goes in to explain a bit of this about the long range SAMs and the short range SAMs. I won't try and give his explanation here, but if you read his comments, it's probably easier. That's the best way to do it. But you can see this one's only got a long range of 2, and then if you move any closer to it, it's normal range. So this one's maybe not as bad, and that's why I felt like I had to do the check again. However, he said, yeah, no, he wouldn't have done that check again, going by his house rule. He also finished... I've not got the comment here in front of me, because I figured I could keep it in my head what it was. But go and read it, by all means, if you're wanting to know exactly what he's talking about. He also says that play rate card 5 doesn't seem to say if it should be checked once per movement phase or once every movement point spent. And he finishes his comment with, it's maybe a question I'll get around to asking. Well, after that, I must have played on his mind. So he went and asked the question about it, and the designer, Douglas Bush, replied that the intent was that it would be checked every time there was a movement point spent. So you would check to see if it was going to fire. You know, this is a long range check, and it's an odd or even roll to see if it'll fire or not with that. So every kind of movement point. So John's added that to his comment about that, and he's replied to. I just noticed today's reply to that comment by Douglas Bush, maybe just to find more about it. And however, he does concur that in Dark Blue Defection, there's not an ammo track, so it's not as necessary to worry. Well, it's not necessary to worry about ammo. You don't need to care about it. So I think he would be, now that he's got that confirmation, I think he would be including that if he was playing the Dark Blue Defection side of things. For the full solo game, I dare say he would maybe put his house rule back into action and play it that way. And I understand that a bit. It does seem to, certainly with the range 10, 9 and 8, it does seem to be a bit. But whether more might come of that, we can find out. So that was really only the real only comment. Well, apart from the one that I realised this myself, and I figured John would pick it up. But it was after I'd uploaded the video though, so I didn't put it in the header. But when we moved, because I was thinking back and I was thinking I moved down to low level, didn't I? Low altitude, and yes. With Silver Fox here, we decided we didn't want that -2 modifier when we made the attack on the SA-13, which would have meant us staying at medium altitude. There was nothing else round about us that we needed to worry about. Well, this is what we thought. So we dropped to low altitude to make the attack to avoid that -2 modifier, which came up a bit of a mess, didn't it? We didn't roll well at all. However, yeah, and I realised afterwards, and obviously John's picked it up, that I'm forgetting about this inherent AAA infrared SAM zones rule that was brought in. This was the first time it came into the game. And that was anything within 5 hexes of the front. So 3, 4, 5. You can see I'm not quite well. There the front goes from there to there, so you can see it's 5 hexes. If you draw a line there and then 5 hexes in, you can see we're in it. We're sitting at low altitude, and we should have done in the check. And it's a 2K22 check. So any flights at lower deck altitude on the enemy side of the front that spend a movement point in the zone are automatically subject to 2K22 for Warsaw Pact mobile AA attack. Resolve the attack as if at 0 hex range. However, any flight may only be attacked by this inherent 2K22 capability once per game turn. Unlike other AA attacks, these attacks do not result in visual identification. Yeah, well, that doesn't matter. So yeah, we forgot about this. So I'm gonna have to do it, and that maybe tells me that I'm better just maybe taking that -2 hit and staying at medium altitude. I think the problem is now I'm going to have I think even next turn when I go to move Silver Fox again, even if my first movement point is climbing up to medium altitude, I think that's going to be a movement point spent at low altitude, and it's going to trigger another attack from that 2K22, that inherent 2K22. So yeah, and if I'd remembered all this, I wouldn't have dropped to low altitude. But I've done it, and I've done the tack on it and everything, so I can't sort of sneak my way out of it and say, right, let's just say we stayed at medium. So I'm going to have to deal with this. Well, I think we can just deal with this now, because there was nothing else to talk about, I think. That was only a couple of comments, I believe. Okay, so, well, let's deal with that now then, and see what happens. Let's play card 1, I want to say, innit? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so there's the table we're looking at, and I've just also realised that this would have applied a negative modifier as well. Which one is it? It's across here, isn't it? 2K22. We're at low altitude. So we're going to roll on a 13's a number here, so we want we want less than a 13, don't we? Is that right? Yeah, it's that number or higher, isn't it? Yeah. But I'm just noting there that we would also took this, whether this hit or not, we would have also took this -1 modifier into our bomb run, because we went at low before we made that attack. Yeah. However, we done nothing to the SAM at all, did we? I think we rolled terribly, so I don't think I need to check back on anything there regarding that -1 modifier. It tells you there, inherent AA zone, Jeopard, well, it's Jeopard for NATO, 2K22 for Warsaw Pact. Attack on all enemy flights at deck/low and inherent AA zone once per movement phase. Right, and the rest of that stuff doesn't matter. So we are going to roll on this, and he's at low altitude. It taught us being at range 0, but I don't see how that's relevant there, is it? It says, resolve the attack as if at 0 hex range. Would that come on it in the actual damage? I don't think so. Or maybe it would. Ah, yeah, look. I mean, let's hope we're not checking this, but we might, because a 12 is quite easy to... sorry, it's a 13, because we're at low, yeah. There's C2K22 Jeopard Vulcan at range 1. There would be a -2 to that. However, it's at range 0, so that's where that's coming in. It's not going to be that negative modifier, which would be better for us, obviously, because we want a low number on that table. Well, like I say, let's hope that we don't need that. So you can see there, we're at low altitude, so it needs a 13 or greater for this to actually hit. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. So here goes 2 dice. Keep it low. That's not low. So 17. So this is going to hit. We are going to see some damage. So let's just double check these modifiers. Oh, right, defensive jamming strength. Well, I'm assuming. Oh no, that's defensive. Yeah, but we'll get some standoff jamming here as well, won't we? I would think so. Right, so the defensive jamming strength is of the actual. Whoops, sorry, all over the place there. As the actual jamming strength of it's the F-16 Falcon. So it's 3. It's a 3 with the D. So that's its defensive jamming strength. Yeah, and remember it's just bottom modifiers because the top ones are just a normal barrage. These are the radar mobile AA damage modifiers. Is that right? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay, so we get a -3 there. Now, I'd like to think we're going to benefit from the standoff jamming strength then. Because we've got to assume that a 2K22 is in, well, it's one of these hexes. I know I made a turn as well, but remember this can only happen once in our movement phase. So it's in one of these hexes, but you can see that that's definitely going to be in the 60-degree arc of our jamming flight. So, and although we've not got whereas we've got spot jamming on this, I'm assuming you can't spot jam these inherent. I dare say that we still, maybe I should just check the jamming and make sure that we still benefit from that. I don't see why not, but let me just look if I can find anything about inherent AA. I don't know, I can't seem to see anything there. That's not to say that it's maybe not. A good way would be to type in inherent and go and search it on the computer, but I'm not going to bother because I'm pretty sure this does apply. It is a 2K22, which is a radar equipped AAA attack, because it's exactly the same as if it was this that was attacking, and the extra benefit to that is we've got spot jamming on that. So I'm going to say this does apply. So we've got standoff jamming at a range of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, let's just say 12-ish. It's less than 16 anyway. 16 gives us our best number, being 3. So I think if I have got that right, then our standoff jamming strength is going to be 3. So that takes us, both their modifiers give us a -6. So that's a good part. Now, there's a +1 there, target on bomb run / recon run. Well, yeah, we're going to lose out on that because we would have been on our bomb run at the time. Yeah, I'm going to just, without going back and looking, yeah, because we dropped, yeah, it was definitely on his bomb run because that's why we avoided the -2 modifier. Right, so that takes us down to a -5 modifier. Now, target speed less than or equal to 2. Well, it certainly wouldn't have been that. Hang on, Silver Fox. Well, I think he was at 3. It was at 3 speed. Yeah, because he was laid in a medium altitude, which is a 3, and I didn't dash him. He's not got a dash marker on him. That would have moved up to 5. So yeah, it was a speed of 3. Does that help us at all? Well, it wasn't a speed of 4, so that's good. Yeah, so it just, if it was less than or equal to 2, we would have got a +1. If it was 4, we'd have got a -1, or greater than 5, we'd have got a -2. Well, we were at a speed of 3, so no modifier there. No line of sight to target or at night. No. And then the 2K22 at range 1 Okay, yeah, because it's it's minuses we want, isn't it? I'm saying them. Yeah, so we would have benefited if we'd been faster there. Sorry, I'm forgetting we want a low number here. However, it didn't apply. No line of sight, and then the 2K22 wasn't. It's remember you class it at range 0, so that didn't apply. And target and shaft corridor. Right, so we've got a -5 on this roll. Well, here we go. You can see the numbers there. Now we are looking at the mobile one. So you can see we want less than or equal to a 10. We do have a -5 here. So yeah, things just haven't really been going right recently. So here we go. Right, so with a -5. Oh, that's good. 11 -5 is 6. Oh, we've got out of this, haven't we? Well, I'm glad we've got out of this because I think if I'd realised what I was doing there, I would not have dropped. I would have took that -2 modifier to my bomb and run. So we ended up with less than 10, so no effect. So we get away with one there. Now, do we have to look at morale possibly, or hang on? I don't think we do because we've not seen this before. But looking under post-combat procedures, which is rule 13 on page 21. It says, following any AAA or SAM combat that inflicts damage or losses, the defending flight only performs the following actions in order. But we weren't inflicted a loss or damage, so if we had, we would have had to check, because there is a bit on the morale table, which you can see down there, SAM AAA combat. Which, yeah, I think we rolled on this already. Did we not roll on this for a SAM attack? No. Did we? Maybe just I've looked at it and seen that the numbers are quite low. Yeah, because surely I would have... I would have remembered getting hit by a SAM, which I don't think I have. Don't think so, anyway. Right, so it would only have been if that had, if we had taken some damage. We would conduct a morale check, we would place disordered abort markers depending on morale check results, roll for bailouts, and damage on crippled aircraft, jets, and ordnance. So I don't think we need to do that. It was only if we took the damage, and we managed to avoid that. And the effects were no effect, damage, cripple, and shot down. I think we got away with it. So now, well, I'm saying we've got away with that. Like I've explained, that I think as soon as I spend any movement point with that, even if it's to climb to medium altitude, I think because I'm at low, I'm going to have to take that check again. Which is a little bit of a but however, I should have remembered. And it sets it up, the reminder about this, our bombers coming in here to bomb this runway with having to drop to low altitude, so they're going to have to take this 2K22 check. They might have the SAM in their way as well, and then we've also got the barrage zone round the airfield, so there's lots going on. Yeah, I noticed I got a comment from I haven't got around to replying, Hal, who's caught up with watching things, and he was saying he was a little bit concerned because I think the first three... Well, actually, if you said the first three scenarios, Hal, I didn't actually win the first scenario, but admittedly, scenarios 2 and 3 did seem to go quite comfortable for me. And it looked like this one was going the same way. Well, it's going to be quite interesting to see how this ends up. I dare say I would like to sort of say that the first 2 or 3, or even maybe the fourth scenario, aren't probably set out to be difficult for you, because I think these are all to take in all the rules and learn you the game. That's just why I've done it. And it brings you in slowly. And admittedly, with this scenario 4, I think Mike, who had been following along, he says this is kind of where the rules kind of peak off a bit, and I think once you can get to this one, the rest of the scenarios, you're going to know the rules. But that doesn't mean to say that I would think they might get a little bit harder. Let's hope so. I mean, I always like a challenge from my games, but I mean, depends how Howard's decided on how hard it should be. Some people don't like their solo games too hard and want to be able to win, but I don't mind. Played plenty of Mr. Butterfield's games, so we know how that goes. Okay, so I think we fixed things there. So where am I actually? Right, okay, well I can see where I am. I'm on the Warsaw Pact turn. Well, as in, it's their impulse next. Now, what have we got? Well, we've just got their flights that are trying to get out of there to go. And then for us, we've just got a jamming flight, which is just going to move a little bit. We moved our bomber, and yeah, that's going to be that. And then we can get in the end of turn. And I said there was some admin stuff, but I'm not actually that sure that there will be much going on. Yeah, I don't think so. But, well, we can see. Right, so let me just carry on and get this finished then. And I'm hoping over the weekend here, that I can get this scenario completed. I know it was all going smooth, and now things are not so smooth. But I still think I'm going to have the time to be able to complete this scenario and maybe get the next one set up and have a look at it. And in between that, maybe have another game set up on the other table. And yeah, well, still not decided yet. Okay, right, let's draw a chit for the Warsaw Pact, just in case it might be a 0. That's a 4, so yeah, we've got a 2. So that's going to activate... it's going to move their last flight. Their last 2 flights, because they split, didn't they? They're both spades. You know what? It doesn't matter here, Grant. Well, actually, yeah, they are both spades. I suppose to select between the two, I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. And I've already said that it's possible I could take these flights off the map, because they're not even trying to land, they're just trying to get off the map, which seems a little odd. We've had stuff before. I mean, one's got a border on it, isn't it? There's a border. Not. I mean, could it not land? And I think you looked at this before, though, Grant. Let's see, it's back in Rule 8 somewhere. I feel like I've seen something in Rule 8. 8 something. Flight abort. Yeah, I was right. 8.4 flight abort. Any flight that aborts may move freely unrestricted by the flight path rules. Aborted flights cannot initiate air-to-air combat. No specific restrictions. Too many variables. Aborted flights should avoid all combat and attempt to land an eligible aircraft or exit the playing area. Okay, so why was I intent on it exiting the playing area then, rather than on saying that? It could well be that the playing area map edge is probably closer than any airfield. There's an airfield up there, but I feel like I'm missing something. Is it because that flight's got... Right, this is... Here's my made up flight log sheet. I've got Richter, who's got a crippled aircraft, and Hess has got a damaged aircraft. Flight aborts. Yeah, it's because of the rule and the solo side of things. If it's aborted, it's going to dash throttle unless already set at combat. It's going to climb one level if able and move toward friendly playing area edge. So that's, and the main rules, what it's saying is a flight would want to, it could land at an airfield or leave the map, but in the solo side of things, it's basically telling us to get it off the map. So it's not going to try and land it or anything. Okay, right, I'll roll between the two. So I've got, let's say Richter's odd, right? 1, right. Okay, so he's going to move first. He's the one that's not aborted, but he's the one that's got a crippled aircraft, and crippled aircraft tell us combat throttle, climb an altitude band, and move towards friendly board edge. So, well, he can't climb. Now, he is MiG-21, isn't he? Where's that about? Ah, yeah, he's here. So he's, he can't go dash because he's crippled, right? He's at high altitude, so he can't climb. He's got a speed of 4 at Queen. Sorry, maybe I should be showing you. It's over there. So at high altitude, he's a clean flight, speed of 4, but he's not allowed to dash because he's got a crippled aircraft. So he's got a speed of 4. He can't climb any further, so he's just going to move. Basically 4 hexes north, isn't he? Oops. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they don't care about the. He's at high altitude anyway. That's fine. So nothing more to do there. So that's a mark finish. And then for Hess, slightly different because he's got a abort. So dash throttle, climb 1 level if able and move towards the area, the edge. He's at high as well. So same. Oh well, no, hang on. He's dashing, so he can get up to 6 altitude. 6 altitude, 6 speed. Sorry. So he's dashing. He's got a movement of 6. He can't climb anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's way up there. With a high altitude marker, an abort marker, and a dash marker. And that's him. And like I say, you can see that we probably could speed things up here by just removing the 2 flights, I think. Well, next time, if he does the same again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then he's off the map anyway. So, and Richter will maybe take another maybe 3 more turns to get off. But I suppose you should leave them there, because I mean, I might sort of say, well, if nothing more, if I dealt with everything else, done my bombing, I could say, well, I could go and try and take them on, maybe, get another couple of victory points, maybe, because, yeah. Okay, so that's all Warsaw Pact flights moved, and everything but our one last flight, which is our jamming flight. You can see his card there. So he's at medium altitude, which he needs to be to do the standoff jamming, and yeah, we're as well leaving that like that. And if it helps with that 2K22 inherent stuff, we're going to have to deal with that again. So we want to keep the zone with that, right? So at medium altitude, it's got a speed of 4, so I can reduce that to 3, can't I? So yeah, but I do need to move them. So 1, 2, 3. So I wasn't turning them. So it does mean, I think it's still covering most stuff, but you can see that once I move again, I think some of this important area, yeah, might be in trouble. But next turn we've still got all this in the 60-degree arc. At least I believe, yeah, because it goes up halfway through that hex there. But I think if I move 1, 2, 3 more, I might still catch the runway actually, to be honest, with my next move. So that's not so bad. Right, so that's marked that flight finished, and then that's all our flights finished, I think. That's everything moved. So play red card 4 to find out what we're doing next. As a fuel phase, well, there's a bit of housework there, isn't there? So we've got Zelenko had dashed. That's across. So Zelenko had dashed. That's his first fuel used, and then we just had Hess in it. Hess is dashed. That was only 2. So I'll mark that off. I'll mark it off on there, but I'll also mark it off on this wee, not that it matters, this wee made up flight log that I've got. Okay. Right, what's next? We should SAM location phase. Well, that's not going to apply. Track phase, right. Again, there's nothing at deck. We do have a flight at low, which, yeah, shouldn't be at low. However, track phase. What the card 2 we're looking for. Yeah. Okay, so we'll roll for us first on the track table. So rolling for NATO Warsaw Pact detection level C. So we'll roll on the C. 2 dice. You want this kind of low. 12. It's nothing. Right, so 12 was a nothing. And then rolling for them on the D column. Rolled 14, so hopefully that's the same. That is not diamonds. So, what's Zelenko? Oh, he's a diamond. That's great. So Zelenko, who's pointing on the spine there, he's sitting on the spine, has went undetected. That is the waypoint marker on it. Right, he's went undetected. I should take the cubes off, make it easier for myself. That's better. Right, so Zelenko went undetected. He was a diamond. Siskov is already undetected because he was in air-to-air combat. And our 2 fights are spades. So, yeah, it was just that one. Okay. Right, what have I done? I played card 4. Now. Moved it away. Right, that was track phase, SAM acquisition phase. Well, again, no. This is only SAM. Well, we left this one on the table, but because it might get a chance to switch back on it. So none of that. Right, admin phase. Flights roll for disorder recovery. Right. Well, our F-15 is disorder. It's on the card there. So that's Cobra. But remember, that just happened this turn, so we can't even roll this turn, which we would have been able to because we're still at a +1 aggression, so we need to roll a 19 or 20, but however. So our plan with Cobra is, well, I don't even know if he's got time to get to somewhere to try and do that, but at least every admin phase from now we can make that roll. You never know, a 19 or 20, maybe it might happen, you never know. Right, so that was the only one we need to roll for, but we can't do it. Split flights, we're not doing that. Roll to remove shutdown markers, and no. Switch radar on, off, move mobile SAM. Remove SAM launch markers, no. No, the AAA firing doesn't leave any of that, I don't think. I've just said that and I've just looked at radar AAA fired markers. 14.63, right? I didn't know there was fire markers because it did fire, didn't it? Is that relevant to anything? Maybe it's just to remind you, because I was going into my bomber run. No, I just read this bit as well. Hang on a sec. I can't even find the markers that it's talking about, to be honest. Radar AA fire markers. That's something I've not... Oh, hang on. There's SAM launch markers. Could it be in here somewhere? Suppression. I think it's maybe just... SAM launch, is it on the back of that? No, SAM avoid. No, I'm not finding it. But I think it's maybe just as a reminder that fired at you, and you would get the modifier for going into the bomber run, possibly. Could it be just as a reminder of that? Because I think that's also a SAM launch marker would come off now as well, wouldn't it? That's what we just read before. Remove SAM launch markers, radar AA fire markers, zoom climb markers, and anti-radar tactics markers. Yeah, so yeah, well, I should have put one down there, but I think it's just as a reminder that the only thing I can think is just to remind you you've been attacked and you've got that negative modifier, unless there's anything else that might check for that. But well, I don't think we came across it. Right, so I don't need to do any of that. Right, that's it. So there's no other markers that come off. We didn't do any zoom climbing, did we? We've got max turn markers, but they stay on. The only other thing is to tick this down to 4 now. The suppression on that SAM. So that's it. And move up. That's the end of turn, so move up to turn 6. And well, I suppose that's a good time to just stop this. I know we didn't do an awful lot there. Made a fix and kind of finished the turn, but yeah, I know it's a short part, but I've run out of time at the moment. Like I say, I'm hopefully going to get into more of this in the next couple of days, and be able to hopefully get this scenario finished, and maybe even get the next one started. We'll see. Right, well, hopefully the repair of that went correct. No doubt John will let me know. And then, like I say, I think I'm going to have to do the check come next turn. Although maybe, John, you can confirm that. If I spend my first movement point to move to medium altitude, do I then take that inherent AAA check? I want to say that, yeah, I do, but possibly not. Okay, right, I'll be back tomorrow to hopefully get this scenario completed and see what exciting things are waiting for us in scenario 5. Okay, cheers.